Welcome to this video presentation by the William A. Wise Law Library at Colorado Law School. This video will discuss how to locate a case using Lexis Plus. The purpose of this video is to give you an overview of how to find and use cases on Lexis Plus. You can find cases on Lexis Plus by using the search bar at the center of the screen. First, let's look at how to find a case using a citation. If you know the citation to the case that you want to access, simply enter your case citation in the search bar. Here, I will input 248NY339. Then, click on the magnifying glass to the right of the search bar, or press the Enter key on your keyboard. Your case should then appear. To search for a case using keywords, you will first want to limit your search parameters. Click on the filter titled All Jurisdiction. Using the drop-down menu, select the jurisdiction for the case you are looking for. Here, I'm going to select the 10th Circuit and Colorado. Next, I will select the All Content filter. Using the All Content filter drop-down menu, I will select Cases. Finally, I will input the keywords I want to search for in the search bar. Let's say I'm looking for a case that discusses intentional infliction of emotional distress. I will input that term in the search bar and click the magnifying glass to the right of the search bar. Our search returned over 4,000 cases from the 10th Circuit or the state of Colorado, dealing with the intentional infliction of emotional distress. Based on the number of results, we'll probably want to limit the results further. We can do that by adding more terms and searching within our results. We can further limit by jurisdiction or by court. The timeline allows us to pick a date range, while source allows you to pick a specific court. Let's limit the search to Colorado Supreme Court cases from 1864. Now, we can see that there are 40 cases from the Colorado Supreme Court that have discussed the intentional infliction of emotional distress. If we want to remove a filter, all we have to do is click an X next to the filter term. Notice how all of the filtered terms are at the top of the result list. Now that we know how to find a case in Lexis Plus, we should explore what a case looks like. Here, I've scrolled down and selected the Stefano case. A case in Lexis Plus should look fairly similar to one you would find in a print reporter. The caption is located at the top of the case. It includes information on the case citation, the party names, the court, the date the case was decided, and the docket number. Below the caption, we'll find parallel citations for the case and other reporters. You can learn a lot about a case just by looking at its citation. Looking at this citation, the first set of numbers refers to the volume. The middle refers to the reporter that the case is located in. And the second set of numbers refers to the page that the case is located on. So this case is located on page 275 in volume 763 of the Pacific Reporter 2nd edition. Under parallel citations, one should see the full party names. In some cases, you can also find subsequent history, prior history, and the disposition. If you scroll down the page, you'll find a list of core terms and the case summary. The case summary provides information on the procedural history, a brief overview of the facts of the case, and the outcome. Under the case summary, one will find the LexisNexis headnotes. We will not discuss these at length right now, but one should know that they summarize points of law within the case. The number of headnotes will vary depending on the length of the case and the number of legal issues involved. You can jump down to the portion of the case that discusses your particular issue by clicking on the headnote number. Following the headnotes, one will find information on the attorneys and judges in the case. The attorneys are located here, and judges right here. Finally, you will come to the opinion. At the beginning of the opinion, you will find which justices or judges authored the opinion. Here we see it is Judge Erickson. It is important to note that all the information prior to the text of the opinion has been added by editors at LexisNexis. The information added by the editors is intended to help you conduct research. Please do not cite the LexisNexis editorial additions as primary authority. Throughout the opinion, one will notice bracketed numbers. These bracketed numbers are the pagination for the case. The page numbers apply to the text that appear after the bracketed numbers. For example, from the citation of this case, we know that it begins on page 275. If I wanted to use this case's definition for the test of outrageous conduct in, let's say, a brief, I would first find the headnote that discusses that point of law. Here, we can see it's headnote 15. I would click on the headnote number, which should take me down to that section in the case discussing the topic. I would then look for the nearest bracketed number. The nearest bracketed number is 287. But the information located on 287 begins after the bracketed number. That is to say, page 287 begins with the words liable for independent acts, which means that the information before the bracket number is on the previous page. So the test for outrageous conduct is located on page 286 of the opinion. The last couple of features I want to point out about viewing a case on Lexis Plus are the print and save functions. These functions are located at the top right side of the web page. If you're working on a research project and want to be able to easily return to the case, you can save it to a research folder. You can also print, download, or email the case. To the left of the print, save, and download buttons is the Go to Page Number bar. By inputting a page number and pressing enter, you can jump to a specific page within the case. On the right-hand side of the case, there is a bunch of wonderful information. This information will be discussed in a future video. Of interest, though, is that there is a Shepardized document button. For those of you watching who don't know about Shepards, be on the lookout for a future video on the topic. Thank you so much for watching this video on locating cases using Lexis Plus.